Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Underdog Lord, this is Underdog Views, and I watched Psycho 4, the beginning. This is the first time that we actually have something after the title, usually the other ones is just Psycho, Psycho 2, Psycho 3, but this time it's Psycho 4, the beginning. Something new. With tagline, you've met Norman, now meet Mother. Oof. Before we start, we've all seen the news, and my views are primarily American, so I watch a lot of American news. Things that Tyrone Magnus, Brad Cooper, and others, do for JD Delay. I watch them. And Charles Pedro, I think. All news. Sometimes news. And I got to hear about this through a video. Mr. L. Boyd, we can't forget about him. Now, I've seen this through a video, and yesterday there was a major accident. Charlie Kirk got shot. So, first of all, rest in peace to Charlie Kirk, because he didn't deserve to get shot, And not only that, he died from it. And people are celebrating that. If you are celebrating that, leave the channel right now. I don't fucking care. Leave the channel, don't come back. Because we don't need this kind of shit. He was a father and a husband. A father of 2 children. Come on, really? Look, just because you don't have the same views as him, and I don't have the same views as you probably, or as you, or you, some things overlap, obviously, but just because you don't agree with somebody, it's not justified to shoot somebody, and not only shoot somebody but kill somebody. It's not justified ever. And I know that in America are a lot of happy trigger people, trigger happy people, but come on, really? Just go to a shooting range and do shit there, or go to your own, you probably have a big piece of land and just go shoot there, set some cans, on a row and shoot the cans, something like that, but not people, not fucking people. Or join the army, join the army, then you can shoot some people, but not just random people just because you don't agree with them. That's fucked up, dude. So that said, let's just... you guys are a bunch of psychos. The people who are celebrating, But speaking of Psycho, let's just start with the movie Psycho. We get some different shots. During the credits, we see a kitchen knife being pulled out of that knife stand. A cigarette being lit. A radio, a car radio. We see that thingy, move. So it's probably looking for a frequency. A cake being decorated. The size we see as well. A clock. Tick 1 second. Blood drip in a drain that is running. A drain in the sink, I mean. I think some flesh being sewn You know, it didn't look like fabric, so it looked a bit fleshy. So I'm going on a limb to say flesh. Um, Again, a cake. And on air sign being turned on. Tomato being sliced. Cake again. And we now have a very up close shot of a pair of man lips. And the moving a bit, because he's talking. And then we get to see the person himself. And he talks into a radio mic because he is being interviewed on a radio. And the camera zooms a bit out, it's getting back. And we then see, here on the left, we see the back of the female host who is hosting the radio show. But we're gonna leave that because if you want to know what's gonna happen next, watch the movie yourself. This movie is just not as good as the other three. The third one was a nice ending, but this one was a kind of prequel-ish. Yeah, it was a sequel prequel. As in, it is a sequel, as in, Norman Bates is out again, but he calls to the radio, and he calls himself Ed, as in, as his alias, and not to let people suspect that he is the famous Norman Bates. And he called in, and he says that his first woman that he was a woman that wanted to have sex with him. And I thought, well, no, it wasn't. But it was not Mariam. It was back in the day when he was younger. So we had also another actor playing young Norman Bates, which was pretty nice. There was something weird. During his first murder, he was talking and he was now in the room where his mother, before he killed her, before he killed the girl, and his mother was already dead, because a bit later we saw her corpse, the other side of the corpse, because we saw her now laying in bed. But when he did the voice for mother, we saw her just slightly move her shoulders, and I thought, wait, is she alive? But no, she was dead, and Norman stood on this side of the bed, and the mother was there laying, So he couldn't have moved her shoulder while she was talking, So, well, he did the voice for her. So why was that? Well, it was probably or a person, just laying there, or it was a doll that they used. I don't know. But if it was a person, they didn't lay still. And if it was a doll, why did it move? Because if it is a doll, it should lay still. Norman has an actual wife in this movie, and the wife is pregnant, even though he said, I don't want to. And his mother died in a different way in this movie than we saw in another movie. In one other of the three, because in the other of the three, we saw her hand fell, because she was in the room. But in this one, she kind of came down the stairs and he hauled her. But I'm gonna leave it at that. We don't have much time left. Well, we don't have any time left, but I will be back later. Alright, we're gonna wrap this up. My film roll was full, so I had to remove something. Anyway, this, like I said, this movie was just not as good as the other three. It was my least favorite of the three, but it was not a bad movie. It was kind of nice-ish to see how I could have gone without. I it, I could have gone without this movie. Yeah. It was nice to have Anthony Perkins, uh, in all 4 movies as Norman Bates. Very nice to see him. But this movie was actually kind of unnecessary, to be honest. Look, if you did the whole prequel, so as in the whole movie is just showing it, still I wouldn't know really if that was really necessary, because the first 3 were just very good. Yeah, they were just good. Yeah, they were perfect, almost perfect. We see him kill, we see him go to prison eventually. Yeah, and it's done. Yeah, and just on his hand. Would have been fun. Would have been done. This movie was still, like I said, still a fun movie to watch. But it was just a bit unnecessary in my opinion. At first I thought, yeah, this movie is maybe pretty alright. It's not good, it's not as good, but it's alright. And now that it has ended, I think that it was still alright. Mm. The movie was fine. It was a fine movie. So I'll give this movie a high 3, low 4. Um, yeah, the movie was fine, but I just can't give the higher than a 3.4, 3.5, because out of 5, because in comparison with the other 3, this was just not it. Um, but like I said, it was a kind of a sequel prequel, because it was after the 3rd movie. The timeline was after the 3rd movie, but the prequel part is that he talked about his past, everything that happened before the 1st movie. So it was a kind of a sequel prequel sequel prequel, more like. So the movie was fine, but go watch the movie yourself. Make up your own opinion. Leave likes, recommend a good psycho path related movie down below in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, come join Discord, and see you guys later for Squid Game Season 3 Episode 5? 5? I think 5. Otherwise I'll see you guys more for Bates Motel. Yes, we're not done with Psycho just yet. Tomorrow we're gonna have Bates Motel, and Saturday we're gonna have Psycho, the remake, with I think Vince Vaughn, who plays Norman Bates in that movie. So I'm curious how he will pick up the role as Norman Bates. I think he can. Yeah, he can play a good creep. I think. Yeah, I think he can do it. But will he be as good as good as Anthony Perkins? We don't know. We only know by watching the movie, and you get that one on Saturday. So if you want to see that movie, subscribe to the channel. Well, you don't get the movie actually, but more of a review from it. So it is what it is. That's it. I'm gonna leave that, and see you guys next time. Bye.